I'm going to attempt to qualify for the Gravel World Championships.
Yep, you heard me. Can an ex-pro track cyclist qualify to race at the World Championships?
How hard can it be? Well, I'm going to find out. And it's probably going to be very hard. A few months ago, I wanted to set myself a challenge, something that'll get me motivated. And whilst I was searching for an event to do, someone at GCN Megabase said, Manon, why don't you try it and qualify for the Gravel World Championships? Do you know what? I was like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Now that I decided what my aim was, I needed to find a qualifying event. There are races all over the world, from France, Poland, US and Australia, that riders can take their pick from that are part of the Gravel World Series. There are 17 races in total, but I've chosen to do this race in Denmark. Why did I choose this one? Well, there's only one reason. Because it was the flattest. It's 160 kilometres long and it is a pan-flat course. I'll be honest, after completing the Steamboat Gravel race in Colorado, 224 kilometres at altitude, I thought this was going to be a walk in the park.
So now that I've chosen my event, it's time to get the hard work and the training in. And if you want to know how I trained for this event, then there's going to be a whole video coming on everything I did to the channel very soon. So we have touchdown in Denmark. We actually arrived last night. I've picked up my Argon 18 bike for the race, which is an absolute beauty, but I will show you that later. But we're just on the way to the race now. I'm gonna sign on this afternoon, get all my number, get everything prepped. We're feeling quite scared and nervous. We're not far out from the race and it is very flat and very windy. Possibly the windiest place I've ever been. The trees are like on the slant. Okay, so I've arrived at the start area and this is the expo. There's a few different stalls going on, but I'm going to go and sign on now. I'm not taking my hood down because it is so windy and quite cold. So this is going to be me. Is this where I sign, get my start?
The start number, yeah.
Oh, cool. I am number 364. I wasn't expecting it to be so windy.
It is pretty windy.
Yes. Not used to this.
A little bit more or less tomorrow.
Tomorrow, hopefully, yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, got my start number in my little bag with some time and chips, number, and all the details. Now that's all left to do is get myself ready for the start tomorrow. Now you might be wondering what bike I'm using. Well, I'm on the Argon 18 Dark Matter, a pure racing machine and the perfect bike for the job. Now this bike has got a lot of cool equipment on it. I've got the Hunt 42 Limitless Aero Gravel wheels, got Pirelli tyres, and you might have also noticed that I have suspension. Yes, I've got the Redshift Pro shock stem and seat post, and hopefully that is going to smooth out all the bumps, so I'm not going to get any fatigue in my upper body, because that is something that I have struggled with. So hopefully it's going to be nice and smooth on the gravel. But if you want to find out all about this bike in a lot more detail, then head over to the GCN Tech channel, where I've done a video on all my equipment, my nutrition, my clothing, everything that you need to know. The course is 3 laps of just over 50 kilometers long, and the course has a little bit of everything in it. You kind of start on gravel, you go to the coast, you hit really loose sand, then you're on the beach and it's really hard compact sand, and then you go into the woods where there's just loads and loads of gravel tracks. And I've never been to Denmark before, but the gravel riding out here is actually really good. Okay, so it's less than 24 hours to the race now. I've signed on, I've got my numbers. I hope I'm ready. But this is possibly the windiest place I've ever been, but also the most beautiful place I've ever been. The sand is so white. I just wish the sun was shining and it was less windy. That would make it even better. So it's now time for my pre-race meal, and of course I've gone for the classic spaghetti bolognese. Can't go wrong with that. But this afternoon I was actually planning on going out and doing a little bit of a recon of the course, or some of it, but I feel pretty bunged up, which I'm actually quite gutted about, doing all this prep and then getting to race day and not feeling 100%. But there's nothing I can do about it now, so I'm just gonna put my big girl boots on and crack on with it as best as I can. Just going to eat this and have an early night, and hopefully I'll feel a little bit better in the morning. So, just got to the start, and I didn't think it was going to be raining, but it has been pouring down overnight. It's freezing cold, but thankfully the guys at Argon 18 have let me stand and get a bit of shelter underneath their tent. But yeah, I was not expecting it to be this cold. But yeah, not long, but half an hour till the start now, so might go and do a little bit of a warm-up, but not sure how warm I'm going to get in this weather. Ooh, I'm a little bit scared, but also nervous. All the emotions. Why do I do this to myself? Start line always feels a little bit nervous, and I always get like flashbacks to when I was racing. Everybody looks very professional. I feel like I've entered a pro race. I mean, there is quick step pros doing it, so it pretty much is a pro race. So I'm at the start line and I'm gridded in the first top 25. Don't know if that's a good thing or not. Around a lot of pro riders, which is quite scary, but I think the start is going to be absolutely carnage. There's like nearly 1,000 riders behind me. Probably going to overtake me, but yeah, wish me luck. Hopefully see you out there. So the start was neutralised, and once the neutralised car pulled off, we hit this really loose gravel, and it's kind of like gravel that I've never really experienced before. It was almost like just chipping stones. It's just lots of really loose stones absolutely everywhere, and because it had rained a lot the night before and the morning of the race, there was just massive puddles of rain everywhere, and you couldn't quite figure out how deep the puddle was when you hit it, so that was quite scary. I thought, this is a really long race, I'm not going to get carried away like I have done in the past, so I kind of like rode at my own tempo. Quite a few riders overtook me, and then I kind of settled into my own pace. We didn't go onto the beach immediately, but we hit quite a sandy section. It was kind of in the dunes, and then we hit the beach. Just on the beach section now. Oh my word. It was basically like Battle on the Beach, but 160 kilometres of it. Especially when you've got nearly 1,000 riders all coming to this one section. It's probably wide enough for 2 riders. We had to get off and walk, so there was a little bit of walking involved. I've never been so sandy, muddy and gritty in my life. It was literally everywhere. I think I had half the beach in my mouth at one point. And I'm so glad I had glasses on because my eyes would have been destroyed. So it was about 25 kilometres into the race, and we hit this really long straight gravel road that seemed to go on for absolutely ages. Oh my God. Oh, the wheel. And I just couldn't hold the wheel. Riders were coming past me, I was dropping the wheel, and I felt like I was giving everything, but my legs were just going backwards. So that was a little bit heartbreaking. So all your effort was going in, but you just couldn't keep up. Story of my life, really. But I have to say, because I rode the Redshift stem and seat post, I felt such a big difference when I hit the really bumpy stuff. Like, my arms or upper body did not hurt one bit. I never felt like it was too bumpy. And some of the roads were really bumpy. There was like proper not sure what is, but it was pretty bumpy, and I could see no riders around me, like their whole upper body was shaking, but mine actually felt pretty smooth. So then we hit another part of the beach, and it was a really long straight section, and to get onto the beach we had to go through quite a lot of loose sand, and I know my sand riding skills and it's not very good, so I got off and I did a little bit of a run until I hit the hard sand. There was a rider that came past me and literally went head over heels because his front wheel just hit the deep sand and face full of sand. So I'm glad that wasn't me, at least, yeah. So a little run and then onto the beach, which was a really, really windy section, and it felt like it went on for a long time. And then there was riders coming past me and saying, you know, come and get on my wheel, get out the wind. And I was trying to get on the wheel, but I just couldn't stay on the wheels, which was, yeah, not good for the morale, let's say that. At this point, I was really feeling it. I felt like I'd done well over 100 kilometres when really I'd only just done over 50 kilometres, and I had my head down, I was just pedalling, getting on with it, and I missed the turn. I don't know what to say, this is not going to plan. I've just had to stop because I somehow went the wrong way, because I'll be honest, I was just f***ed and my head was down and I missed the turn in. So yeah, but I feel like poop. I don't really like quitting. Okay, so I've just come to a stop. I'm 72 kilometres in, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I can carry on. I have nothing left in the tank. I just feel like I'm going backwards the whole time, and it feels like I'm swallowing razor blades. Everything in me is like, I should carry on and just get around, but then I'm like, I'm just going to put myself in a hole because I feel absolutely awful. It is a really tough decision to make because you're like, oh, I'm going to be a failure and this and that, and then I'm like, no, like, I wasn't feeling great. I put myself on the start line, I gave it my all. I just couldn't do it. And I think it's really important to show this on video because a lot of our videos, especially I've done in the past where I've done events and they've gone quite well and you kind of, you know, you can finish the events and it's all rainbows and sunshine. Whereas this kind of happens every now and again. And I think it's really important to show that because things don't always go to plan, and that's okay because that's just life. One thing that definitely didn't hold me back though was my equipment. I just want to say a big thank you to Argon 18, Hunt and Redshift for being involved in this video because I definitely can't fault anything on that bike. This time it was just me and my legs.
So the top 8 male finishers were all Danish, and that kind of shows you have to be a true Danish Viking to do well in this race. The winner of my race was Tessa Naeselius from Live Collective Racing. That did it in a rapid time of 5 hours and 9 minutes. But out of all the starters in my age category, only 17 finished the race. It wasn't only me that was struggling with the brutal conditions today. And even current Fridell Quickstep pro Casper Asgreen could only finish 27th after suffering a tubeless valve problem as well.
So to answer your question, no, I didn't qualify for the Gravel World Championships. And turns out, it's actually really hard to qualify. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comment section below, even though it didn't go to plan. And I most definitely didn't qualify for the World Championships. But if you want to find out more about my bike, head over to the GCN Tech channel where I've done an in-depth look at everything on the bike. But now I'm gonna find some Strepsil, some Lemsip and get him to bed and probably stay there for the next few days.